Alright guys, welcome to the AlphaFur Challenge of the Week. Today is going to be week 1, and we're going to be playing on Daybreak and Metropolis in preparation for... show you my face. In preparation for Season 7 on the ladder, so you guys know what's going on. We're going to be focusing on the different aspects of the map and teaching you guys what to do, what not to do, some other cool stuff too. And as a bonus, because they actually announced Ohana will be added to the map as well, I did manage to get some replays, so I'll be doing a special pre-show episode 1.5 immediately after this show, where we're going to go into Ohana and learn about that as well. So, first off, I'm going to show you guys, where is it? Daybreak. Bumping over. This is Daybreak. It's a pretty cool map. It's been used in GSL for a while, and what's cool about it is there's a ton of bases. Some of the things I highlighted here are, there's a fairly safe third. You can actually just hold this ramp, kind of hold this position here, and get a third pretty safely. It's pretty common to see 3-base play on this map. The key part is the 4th base decision, and that's really kind of the defining feature of this map. You can choose to go up front here and be near the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Sorry it's so low res, that's what I got. This base doesn't have as many minerals and only has 1 Vespene Geyser, but you do have great positioning, but you are also able to be attacked in 3 different pathways. You can also choose this 4th base back here, which is a lot safer, but you're kind of spread out there. If they drop your main while your whole army's up here, you're in trouble. So 4th base decision is very key on this map. One key feature, there's rocks here in the middle. There's actually only 2 attack paths until you take down these rocks through the bottom here and through the top. But once you take down the rocks, there's 3 different pathways, and these Xel'Naga Watchtowers are on both sides of that middle pathway. And finally, actually the final part was there's 3 different attack paths. So let's go into the first game. Let me, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff going on right now. I'm trying to manage. Go into the first game, and this is going to be, it's not responding to anything I'm pressing. There we go. Milkus versus Speece. And it's going to be on Daybreak, and it's going to be a ZVP. And I'm going to just highlight some of the stuff. I'm going to fast forward through the early play. You guys know how to do basic build. You guys know how to build probes and pylons, so I'm not going to be focusing too much on that kind of stuff, but I will be focusing on what they do specific to this map. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. You can see Milkus is getting his probes and pylons on. Pretty good stuff. And Speece is just going to drone hard. He's not doing any 6 pool. He's not going to go nuts, go crazy. But what is going on? Milkus is actually looking to fast expand. Let's talk about fast expanding on the map. This map actually has a pretty small choke. It's not Xel'Naga, of course. It's not Metalopolis, but you can get a fairly decent wall here. There is a lot of space to fill. You're going to have to put a lot of buildings there, but it's not the worst map to do that, so I like this decision. Let's see how it pans out. And typically what you'll see when a Protoss decides to forge fast expand in this case is the Zerg will either get 3 bases fast, or he will just go all in. And knowing Speece, he's probably not going to go all in, especially because he's doing this game for a show. He's not going to just show me some sort of cheese. And a really good pylon block. What is Speece going to do now? He's got pylon here. His expansions are going to be so much later. What's he going to do? Well, I'll show you. He's just going to go and take the 3rd position down here. Why is that a good decision on this map? You're going to see it a lot, and you should copy it. If you get denied in this in the natural position, just take the 3rd. It's very well protected. You're going to take it anyway. And it's not that far from the base. It's a pretty smart decision all in all. Really, it's so laggy, damn. Sorry, guys. It's recording fine, so at least the YouTube version won't be as laggy. But this is all I can promise right now. I want it to look good, but first episode, trying out some stuff. Can you at least hear my voice? If my voice is breaking up, then I'll redo the show. So let me know if that's happening. Anyways, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Spies... hang on. It's breaking up my voice. That he has to, it's breaking up my voice. That's the question. Milkus... Voice is good. Okay, so never mind. Ignore me. So Milkus is just going to have a nice wall going on here, and Spies is probably going to take this position. This queen is making the walk of shame to the third base. They couldn't get up the natural, so it's going to take a long time to get there. There is the natural expansion, and it's going to be a pretty standard 3-base versus 2-base toss. And I kind of like where that kind of... the map allows it to go there without being some sort of strange complication where Protoss just gets a lead in the early game. This is pretty standard stuff. Both players are on even terms. You can see Spies is now catching up in the drone count with Milkus getting double probes. Pretty cool stuff. You got a queen down here. Nothing too crazy. Overlord positioning. You can see Spies very easily got his overlords around here in the bottom of the map. He can see that stuff is going on in the base. He'll be able to fly one of them in and try to get a timing. You can see an early Zealot here charging across the map, and Spies actually doesn't have many Zerglings. There's 6 coming in. They'll be able to clean this up, but it looks like he will lose a drone or 2. Good old speedy. One part of the lag is that it's going faster right now, so that's gonna happen. And really what we'll see is Milkus will make a decision what he wants to build, and Spies will have to react to that. Or Spies will just make a ton of roaches and go all in. But I think Spies is going to be smart about it. He's going to react to whatever Milkus throws down. And indeed, he is throwing down a Robo Bay and 3 more gateways. So it's going to be a pretty strong Robo army. I wouldn't be surprised to see Colossi, maybe a few Immortals. And Spies is going to have roaches, and he's getting his lair right now. Both players are just kind of scattering around. Oh my gosh, look at this Overlord's timing. Right now, Spies sees everything. He sees the Robo, he sees all the gateways as they finish. That's pretty good timing. And Milkus puts down a Robotics Bay, and at about the same time he's going to get a Observer as well. Pretty smart stuff. So Spies is just macroing up over here. He's taking out the rocks, not a bad decision, especially when you have roaches. You want to make sure to get a good concave. You want to make sure they keep in a ball, not in a line, especially against Colossi. We'll see how this game develops. It looks like Milkus is getting 1 Forge, ground weapons level 2. He already has level 1. And he's just going to make a ton of roaches right here. Pretty good stuff. And he's getting out his own upgrades as well. There's going to be a lot of Colossi on the map, actually, if Milkus keeps playing this way. He's chrono boosting out the Colossi. And it looks like Spies... oh no, he's going Hydra. Hydra against Colossi is not the best. So let's see what happens. It looks like Spies is going for a very early 4th. It's almost halfway done. And, like I said earlier, he can defend this place easier, but it's pretty far back there. So he will have to defend a lot of different surface area in order to keep these 4 bases. Meanwhile, Milkus is just catching up. He's getting his 3rd. And that's pretty standard stuff. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He is catching really good. This proxy pile, I'm going to take it out easy. But Spies is kind of just wandering around. He doesn't really have any idea where the army is. He knows that this base is just going down because a Ling ran by, but Milkus is throwing down a huge wall right here, and that is going to be able to hold it. I wanted to point out, when you do this kind of stuff, when you wall off this area, you can just sit your army here, and when you want to take a 4th, you just move out to the tower. Because if they try to run by back here, you will be able to just flank them and get great positioning and smush them between the gateways and your army. My cat's looking at me. Funny. Okay, so Spies took out the rocks. Pretty safe decision. Zerg won as many attack pathways as possible, and it looks like he's splitting his army. He has all his Lings up here to attack the 3rd, and he may be trying to do a run-by with these roaches. And it looks like Milkus is sitting his army pretty safe here. He'll be able to respond to whatever happens in either his natural or his 3rd base. It looks like another Ling run-by. This is not a complete wall-off. You want to be aware of that, and it looks like a whole ton more roaches are coming out on the map. There are a lot of roaches headed towards Milkus, and smartly taking down these rocks as well. Milkus not scouting out this area, so he doesn't know these rocks are happening. These rocks are going down. He doesn't know that he's going to have a push up this ramp, possibly right now, and it looks like at the same time Spieß is running by with the Lings at the third base, but running the roaches right into the main. This is a really good timing attack. You can see the two armies are doing a lot of damage, but actually these Lings aren't doing any damage. Milkus's army actually pretty much demolishes that push, and now these roaches are in trouble. If they don't get out of there, they do manage to take out the Forge and the Cybernetics core, but this Colossi is going to do a lot of damage. Will the roaches be able to get out without getting too much damage? They do take out a few roaches, but a majority of them do escape. Pretty smart stuff, and Spieß is still ahead. And Spieß is actually taking this fifth base, and he's just going to try to consolidate his power. He's going to try to fight off this push that's coming, but he doesn't have the Spire completed, and the Colossi, there's already 3 on the map. A 4th is completing in about 1 second, and Blink is halfway done. So Spieß is going to have a very formidable army coming his way. They're only 2-0, but Spieß actually hasn't gotten any upgrades beyond the 1-0 for his ranged units, so he is going to be in trouble if this army chooses to move out, which Milkus very well may do. He may try to take this 4th as well. I wouldn't be hesitant about doing that. And I realize I'm playing it on normal, so here we go back to faster speed that the pros use. And here's a pretty big force for Spieß. He's maxed out on Roach Hydra, but here comes the push, and there's no rocks to stop them. Spieß taking down the rocks early means that he's not going to have any sort of buffer. Wow, look at those force fields. These roaches in the front are just being toasted. My hotkeys aren't working. I try to lower this panel here, but half the roaches just being taken out easy peasy. Milkus only losing about 20 supply. Spieß losing about 60. He is building 22 more roaches, but this army is still very strong, and it's being reinforced with zealots, and more Colossi are coming. I don't know. Here's a nice forward proxy pylon placement. Spieß is going to try to take the 6th base, but just on this map you can see how this position is very hard to hold against a strong pushing Protoss, especially with these 7 zealots. He's going to be able to walk right in with them. They're going to do a lot of damage, and Spieß is trying to spread out his army, but it's just not that great of a position to spread out because of the hatchery and these 2 ramps here. The zealots are walking in early first. Why aren't my hotkeys working? And this Protoss army is actually doing a lot of damage right now. 5 Colossi going to work on the whole Zerg army. You can see the supply is now even. Some mutas coming out. The Spire did finish, but Spieß is just building a lot of mutas, and there are a large number of Blink Stalkers. If he can take out the Blink Stalkers, then the mutas can clean the rest up, but there's a lot of Blink Stalkers, and this ground army for Spieß is actually melting into nothing. I think this may be the end of the game, folks, because Spieß just lost his 5th base, and that's a lot of damage. There's a bunch of mutas flying around. 3 more in production. Spieß definitely saved up for his mutas. He has a 6th base up, nothing mining there yet. But this Toss army is pretty much unchecked. There's some Lings running across the map, not going to be a threat. Zealot's already taken some shots at the army. And Milkus is moving up into this 3rd. I think he just kind of A-moved because half his army went north of this kind of gap, the other half went south, but Toss armies are pretty strong, so Milkus pretty much is going to have a lead here. The supply is just plummeting for Spieß, losing a ton of drones, the base going down as if it was made out of paper. Spieß is trying to push in to the 3rd with these mutas. There is no 4th for Milkus. I would have really liked to see him expand while he had that position, but he's pretty much won. There's a lot of spine crawlers here that Spieß is going to try to use to defend with, but they're pretty much dead. Poor guys. And Milkus did get some Lings into his main, but Photon Cannons in great position, some Zealot Warp-ins. This game is pretty much over. We should be seeing the GG momentarily. In fact, it's going to come in about 5 seconds. There it is. Cool. So that's game 1. Hope you guys learned something. That game was pretty smart. Milkus just sat back on 3 bases and did a nice 3-base push. When you see that kind of stuff, you're playing safe, and that's what he did. He probably could have taken a 4th, but he had the upper hand the whole game. So, we're going to go into Game 2. This is going to be Imbu versus Stupid. And I believe Stupid's a random player. But Imbu as the Protoss player here in the north, and Stupid spawning is Terran in the south of Daybreak. We'll see how this game develops. Again, I'll fast forward through the... they're talking about being Korean or something. But they're going to open up pretty similarly. It looks like Stupid is just going to get a nice Rax wall here. And Imbu's getting his gateways. Pretty standard stuff. This isn't surprising at all. The map doesn't really contribute to a lot of crazy openings. Sometimes you'll see proxy barracks in the 3rd, something like that. But for the most part, if you're playing on ladder, you should try to focus on playing standard on this map, and let's see what both players choose to do. It looks like they're both stockpiling quite a lot of money, and here we go. Stupid with the CC first. He's getting one, or not CC first, 1 Rax command center. He's going to expand, and Imbu is doing the 1 gate Nexus, and both players are going to go super economic. Let's see how this game develops. It looks like here's 2 gateways now. Stupid is getting just a few Marines, and it looks like he's going to do an early push with the Marines, just see what kind of damage he can do. Putting up a bunker here in the front. If it completes, it could do a lot of damage. But there's already a Stalker. Gonna pick off the SCV. Almost. And these Marines are going to go to work on the Stalker. Will the bunker finish? No, it doesn't look like it will. Stalker taking out the SCV. And the Marines now are going to take out the Stalker, and just going to do some shield damage to the Nexus. It's hard to do damage with Marines at this point, because they just don't have that late game damage, stim, attack move kind of ability. But it looks like Stupid is just going to use the Marine to scout. This Zealot is going to be going in the wrong direction, and this Marine is just going to walk around to see exactly what's going on. A really good decision while the rest of his buddies go back home. And his base is pretty much finished. So it should equalize from here. Stupid is doing some good scouting. This Marine is still alive in the main. But finally a Sentry Stalker, 3 Zealot combination takes out the 5 HP Marine. And Imbu's going to do his own little push. It does get scouted here. And what does Stupid have to defend? He has a lot of Marines, he has a Marauder, and a bunker. So he should be able to defend this pretty easily. Force field going down, not a great position, and these Zealots are going to do a lot of damage. But a lot of the Bioforce stays alive, and Imbu is forced to pull back, but he does have the space very well mining, and he's going to be ahead for a while. Not ahead, but he's going to be totally fine. This is pretty even. You can see the Harvester count. Toss is ahead, but Mules means the game is about even. And he's going to put down 2 Forges here in the front. And the game will go. Does this work? My hotkey's broke or something. It's so weird. I shall fix it. So, looks like Imbu is focusing on upgrades, which I really like on this map. Whenever there's going to be a push, especially because he has observers to be able to see the push, and he'll know when he should focus on getting his defense set up. But in the meantime, he can just focus on making his units more worthwhile, more value for their cost. And that's what toss upgrades are going to do, and with chrono boosting forges, he can get ahead pretty fast. You can see that his 1-1 finish, meanwhile, Stupid is... Oh, pause it. This is a good point. Okay. So, I was going to finish my thought. Stupid's getting double upgrades as well. 1-1 just finished. And he's doing a timing attack. He's scouting with a forge here. The 3rd doesn't see it, so he's going to do a timing. But you can see that Imbu has totally prepared. He just finished building these Stalkers, and he feels like there's going to be a drop coming. He had this observer, so he saw some of the army moving out. And let's see how well this drop goes. the drop is not going to go well. That's a lot of stalkers. And Imbu is just going to read it very well. And this push is pretty much done. And it looks like this factory is forcing Imbu to move some of his army down to the third. But there's still a lot of army here. If Stupid chooses to push in right now, he could do a lot of damage. This factory is forced to lift off and run away. But yep, here comes the push. Meanwhile, Stupid is getting his own third. And this push... Oh man, these forges are working on 2-2, but they're going to die really quickly. Oh, almost killing one. It looks like both are going to go down, actually. Wow, at the same time. And this push probably won't kill as many units as Stupid would like, but just killing forges at that time is going to put you so far ahead in upgrades if you chose to get upgrades, which Stupid didn't. But it's losing so much time for the cost, and he's going to have to rebuild all of those forges and re-chrono boost and restart the upgrades. You don't lose the money, but you still lose a lot. And so Imbu is just going to be forced. You can see Imbu is actually way ahead in money right now. He doesn't need that. He needs to build some more army. And he may even choose to do a push here, but you can see he's throwing down actually Templar Archives, which I like, against Terran, skipping the Robo play. And he actually has a Dark Templar down here doing a lot of damage as well. And that's just going to delay this push. Stupid's going to have to... It looks like there was another Dark Templar down here. Stupid's going to have to go and defend a third Dark Templar. Or maybe that was the original one down here. But these Dark Templars are going to do a lot of damage. This one already has 4 kills. And it's just going to move out. Fight another day. And those ZTs definitely just kept Imbu in the game. He still has a Harvester lead. As soon as this Nexus finishes, he'll be able to remax. You can see he's getting a lot of extra probe that he doesn't need on these bases. He's chrono boosting out Blink. Storm should go down soon. He may re-begin these upgrades. They're going to be 2-2. You see there they go right there. And Storm is on the way, so he's just getting a ton of upgrades with that excess money he had. And he's going to be setting up the Nexus right here. Speed it up a bit. More DTs are going to play around. DT down here getting 11 kills. Wow. That's a lot. This factory causing more trouble. Whole factories, they're just like the slow friend, like that fat guy in 6th grade who just kind of tried to keep up. Yeah, that was kind of mean. But good old factory is finally going to burn to the ground. And the armies may actually fight here. You can see the rocks are still up, which means that Stupid is going to go around to the south, and if Imbu can catch him out of position, he can do a lot of damage, especially with these High Templar who have Storm. But it doesn't look like he has any idea where exactly this army is, and he's just trying to camp out at the 4th base, Xel'Naga Tower. He's kind of moving back. He seems a little hesitant about where he wants to move. He's getting more High Templar, and he does have a Warp Prism, which might be able to throw Imbu or Stupid's attack off, but it may not. Warp Prisms are still pretty fragile. And it looks like Imbu has split his army, which could be dangerous. If he gets stemmed, he could lose a whole bunch. It looks like he's trying to set up positioning here at his 4th base as opposed to taking the safer one in the rear. That's where he's going to walk in and see everything. Warprim's still back here, but there's a very heavy army here to fight it off. And Imbu doesn't seem to know what he wants to do. And I left the game. I was watching this game live until just now. Imbu, I don't know, man. He doesn't seem to know how to cross to this half of the map. He does have observers, but he's just playing really safe with them. You can probably get more at this point just so you have position. Remember, if you have 2 observers and you pop one down right here, and right there you will see whenever the army crosses over to your side of the map. And then if you get a 3rd one, you can put it right here when the rocks go down. But Imbu is just kind of playing scared. He's trying to set up this 4th base here in the front, but there's a lot of bio up here. They're pretty much both supply capped. Here is a Colossus out on the map. You can see Imbu is moving back towards his 3rd And this army is getting great positioning up here. In fact, there's Ghost that may be able to EMP the Templar. If Imbu wants to fight off this force, he's going to need stellar EMPs. And Stupid may just do a lot of damage here. Taking out the base very quickly. Here comes the engagement. Imbu's army is not in a great position to take him out. There's the stim, and here's the attack. Tons of Zealots going down. But really, where are the EMPs? Oh my gosh, all of the Templar but one getting caught. One storm going down, mostly on the Zealots. This army, there's a lot of lag right now, sorry guys. But Imbu's army is getting decimated with some stim kiting. There are a lot of units down here on the base still. The Colossi is doing a lot of damage. It already has 8 kills, but there's pretty much nothing to reinforce it, and the Stalkers are going down. There's another stim. The Colossi is getting demolished. And now Stupid is up by 60 supply. Scouting on this map is really important. I'm going to say it again because it's really important. Scouting on this map is really important. Knowing where to position your army, being ready for stuff like that, that one EMP on all the High Templar made such a difference in that fight. Because if there were more EMPs, that bio would have gone down a lot faster. The Colossi would have a lot more kills, and Imbu is just trying to warp in units, but he's not going to produce any. Here, this High Templar does have another stim, but not too great of positioning for the stim, and Stupid is just going to do a stupid amount of damage to all these different buildings. Forge is going down before 3-3 finishes. These poor Zealots are trying to do a lot of damage, but they're going down pretty much instantaneously. Stupid getting his own 4th base, and this Nexus, poor guy going down, and yeah, Stupid is just way ahead right now. He has a giant army back at home. He can just A-move with it. I think the game is pretty much over. Just going to show the last few bits. This Colossi walking into a ton of damage. And now all these probes, gateways going down. That's the game. And that's Daybreak. So I wanted to actually talk... Dang it, why did I close that? Because I could have used that. Hang on, I'll reload it really quick. Oh wait, no, I have to replay it. I hate this fucking UI. So I wanted to pose a question to you guys. What if he had taken a 4th in the back? He took his 4th up here, and he was way out of position when he needed to be defending it. What if he had taken his 4th base down here? The Terran army would have to choose which attack path to take. He'd have to either go in through the front, which is a very closed attack point until these rocks are taken down, or he could try to take out the 3rd or the 4th base through here. If he chose to do either of those, Imbu could have set his own positioning, and he could have scouted it a lot easier by just having a small, like a Zealot here or an Observer out here. He would know exactly where the attack is coming from, and he'd be able to defend it adequately. Taking this 4th base is a lot riskier than it may seem at first. I also wanted to point out that you can spread your Templar when you know something's coming instead of losing them all to one EMP. I wanted to point out one other small thing about this map is in a late game position. If you take this 6th base, we saw Speece take it. If you take the 6th base, you can wall in right here and just sit your army on the height, on the towers, because then you can see the other 2 attack paths very easily. And you have a pretty solid wall. If they try to take it, you can move your army out here, take out this base, and then trap the army. That kind of stuff. Cool. So that is Daybreak. And I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. So I will be back. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to just fast forward 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. Actually, that didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. So we're just going to go into the next section. Hey guys, what's up? Badoom! Alright, so we're going to talk about Metropolis, and actually, let me pull up this. Okay, Metropolis is a pretty cool map. We can see that there are actually a billion bases. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are easy to take. 4 in the middle, and 5 more on the other side. So there's 14 total bases. You should not have a problem finding a base to expand to if you're having problems with that. But what I want to talk about are the interesting features on this map. It's actually a pain in the ass. There are 4 different attack paths. From the natural, say to this natural, you can go around through the front and down through here. You can go through the middle on the left side, you can go through the middle on the right side, or you can go around through this side as well. So scouting out 1, 2, 3, 4 different areas is a pain in the butt, but that's just what you got to get used to, because this is going to be on the ladder. In addition, there are where is it? Island expansions with creep tumors on them. I can't really show you. There's the creep tumor there, which means that, and it's actually blocking a hatchery. If you're Zerg, you know, it's not creep for you to use. It'll block any hatchery you try to put down. You still have to kill it to get a base mining there. But what you need is detection. So you either need a Raven, an Overseer, or a Observer to attack it, or you need something like Hellions using attacking other Hellions to take it out. You can use a Scan to take it out. You can build a Spore Crawler there if you want to. That kind of stuff. So to take these island expansions, it's not favored in any specific area. The easiest way I've seen it is for Terrans to load up 2 SCVs into a command center, float it over, use a Scan, because 2 SCVs can actually attack and kill a creep tumor in a single scan, but you're still using a Scan. So that is Metropolis. Alright, into the game. Play. I said play. Okay, so this is going to be DL Rook versus Dementio. And it's going to be a ZVP, and what I wanted to focus on, well, is, I should scroll down so I can read it, is how the game kind of developed. This is kind of an early game, but short game, but it should show you guys how this game kind of develops. The first thing to note is there's a huge rush distance. Yes, it is a weird map. It's a huge rush distance. So DL Rook looks like he's going to expand, which on a long rush distance map you can do pretty safely. And in the meantime, what will Dementio do? He's going to probably expand as soon as he has the 300 minerals to do so. But one problem with Zerg is trying to get this third base up, because you have to defend this whole area in front here to secure your third base, because these rocks are in the way. There's actually rocks on the other side as well. So this map is kind of weird. There's also rocks at the wall in, so you can see Dementio is using this area to wall in, but these are also rocks. If you do an early roach push, you can just attack the rocks from this side over here, take no damage on your roaches, and then run in with a lot. So this is kind of a misleading map. I think there was a ladder map that was similar to it, but nobody liked it. So, going into the game, you can see actually Dementio has not put down his bases yet. DL Rook's sad that he lost the probe, and Dementio should actually put down his third base. If that's what he's choosing to do, it looks like he's getting a ton of drones. The Nexus is on the way. Dementio has a ton of money. Yeah, and there goes the base. Cool. So 3 base Zerg versus a fast expanding DL Rook. He's gonna, you can see just this is not a small position. And with the rocks here, it kind of gets in the way unless you kind of wall off in this diagonal area that DL Rook is doing, which is pretty smart. There's not too many early pushes here. There's a Zealot chasing some Zerglings, but nothing crazy. There's a Queen. Both players are just focusing on economy. Probes and pylons, drones and overlords and layer tech. So let's see what happens, and here is the first deviation. Stargate going down. And actually something cool happened with this overlord that I didn't know until I watched this replay. It's getting attacked, and what he's going to do is just morph it into an Overseer. Because when the Overseer finishes, boom, fully healed. How cool is that? So yeah, morphing a unit fully heals it. But it's going to be a Phoenix... Sorry, now back to the game, aside from that little tidbit of information. It's going to be Phoenix play. And, wow, how did that happen? That's somewhere. Dementio is going to get early Hydras. In fact, as soon as he saw that Stargate, he threw down the Hydralisk Den. They build fast. and he'll be able to get a nice Roach Hydra army to face off any Phoenix Gateway push. Without Colossi, Hydras do really well. And both players are just kind of playing it safe for now, nothing really crazy, doing some scouting with this Phoenix. Should be probably scouting out this area up here, trying to take out the Overseer. Still doing a ton of scouting. Finally getting taken out by the Phoenix. Game looks really funny going this fast. And here is some Phoenix aggression. 5 Phoenix in total, way more than enough to take out a Queen. But there are a ton of Hydras, and a quick reaction could mean that Hydra gets saved. I left the game again because I'm a mean person. But they're just scouting out, looking like they're seeing this base in case there's anything crazy there. And here come the Phoenix. They're going to easily take out this Queen here. The Hydras are trying to move in, but they're just not fast enough. And the Phoenix fly away easy. So that's what you can do with Phoenix. There's a lot of area to attack from on this map. If you get Mutas or Phoenix or Banshees, there's lots of stuff to play with, especially with 14 bases. You're going to have tons of targets, but just don't fly over the Hydras and you'll be okay. Okay, so here we go. DL Rook is taking his 3rd base. And will Dementio expand in response to this, or will he do a push? It looks like he only has 1-0. He has +1 armor on the way. Hydra's here. It looks like a ton of Overlords, just saying, we are Overlords. And he is actually, it looks like he's going to push. He's building a lot of units. Here is the first wave. The Phoenix are trying to pick off some stuff, but there are lots of Hydras here. The 4th does get placed now, so this isn't all in. But it's not too big of an army, and the Colossi is only just now getting started. If he attacks right now, he may even be able to take out this whole army before the Colossi hits. And Boba the Bear leaves the game. And here is, actually, that's a lot of Hydras. If he attacks soon, he'll do a lot of damage. +2 attack is about 1/3 of the way done. Colossi is still not out yet, and it looks like, oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see what happens. He saw an Overlord here, and he wanted to kill it. The Phoenix are coming. He has them, it looks like, all in the same attack group. You can see the Phoenix and the Gateway units right here. So he wants to take out the Overlord, but that leaves him open to this push right here, because he didn't have any sort of observer, he didn't have any scouting, and let's see how it plays out. And you can see the units are just leaving where they need to be. He takes out the Overlord, he does supply block Dementio, but now these units are poking away, they take out the Forge almost immediately. Here comes the actual engagement. Good force field's going down. These Hydras do have the bonus range, so they're taking out these Zealots pretty darn fast. There's only a few left, they're trying to run up. Lots of Roaches coming in from the side. Where's that Colossi? It's still not even done. It finally pops out, but as soon as it gets spotted, it gets taken down. It's already at half health. It goes down almost instantly. These Phoenix are doing a lot of damage, but the Roaches are surviving. The Gateway army is pretty much done, and this Roach army will be able to do a lot, and there's a ton of Hydras just right here. So once he gets them into the fight, these Phoenix will be shut down. And it looks like Dementio has a pretty solid hit. I mean, he's almost up by 100 supply. These Roaches are cleaning up a lot. They're taking out the base. Here's some Stalkers trying to do some damage to the Roach army, but finally the Hydras get in the mix. These Phoenix are going to be shut down. You can just see how fast they drop. And there's the GG. So really pay attention to where your army is, especially when you think you're facing a push. We're going to go into this 4th and last game, and I'm just going to say this ahead of time. It's crazy. This game, I couldn't believe it. These two players sent me this game, and I watched it, and I was just like, what is going on? This is how Metropolis is like meant to be played. And I'll try to highlight everything, but there's a lot that happens. So we'll take it easy, nice and easy when it loads. This was right before the new patch hit. So bear with me while it loads. Okay, so this is going to be Meristematic against King Avocado, and it's going to be a PvT on Metropolis, because that's what we're talking about. So, these players know each other. Bad luck, don't have fun. Get the F out. We'll see what happens. Meristematic is going to prepare his supply depot wall. And it looks like King Avocado is not going to be doing a Forge Fast Expand. We've seen a lot of that out of Protoss in today's game, but this is not going to be a Forge Fast Expand. In fact, it's a Gateway First build. And the barracks are coming up as well. There is the Assimilator, getting a nice scout. This probe is doing a lot of good stuff. And what is Meristematic going to do? It looks like he's saving up a lot of minerals. He was just getting an orbital command. King Avocado, in the meantime, is getting a Cyber Core up. He's getting another Gateway. Kind of curious what he's going to do. Factory going down for Meristematic. This could be a 1-1-1 build. He did have this refinery up pretty early. And it looks like it's going to be a... excuse me. A 1-1-1 expand build. Here's the starport coming out. There is the tech lab. You may even see Banshees come out. But it looks like that King Avocado is just going to do a stalker push. He has a lot of stalkers coming across the map. He's got a bunch in production. It looks like he's waiting for more minerals. He's getting a lot of minerals, so he may just put down an expansion right now. Yep, expand, and he'll be able to build another stalker shortly. In the meantime, yep, there is the 1-1-1, and it looks like... Ooh, he's going fast Banshee Club. But he has a problem, and that's these stalkers that got built that are just knocking on the door. They're taking out the Marines. One stalker does go down, but all the Marines are done, and there are no army units for Meristematic. These stalkers are going to be able to do massive damage once they get into the base. The supply depot is burning down, trying to put down a bunker. He's choosing to expand right now. Probably not the smartest decision, because he needs to defend, and there's a ton of damage. These stalkers are getting up into the main, taking out the SCV, taking out the bunker. And here's one thing I want to point out at this point. These stalkers have only at this point taken out Marines, 2 supply depots, and a bunker. They have not actually done too much damage to the economy, which is what's scary about a Terran player. So, they did take out a Hellion. And it's Banshees out. And once Cloak finishes, these stalkers will have no protection. So, he's got to do his damage now, and he's only starting to take out SCVs with only 2. He's focusing on this barracks, but he needs to be attacking these SCVs first. And it looks like he's finally going to take out this tech lab. But the Cloak Banshee is already out here doing damage. And these last stalkers are just going to take out some army units. They take out the tech lab, but you can just rebuild it. They're not as expensive for reactors. They don't take as long to build. He did put a proxy pylon up here, which I kind of like. If he does like a Zealot Warpin right now, he can do a ton of damage, but the Banshees being on the field, and there are 2 of them with Cloak, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage, but he's preparing. He already has the Robo built. He already has the Observers on the way. He'll be good. So, let's take a look at the economy. You can see that King Avocado is way, way ahead in the Harvester count, which is what you would expect from a push like that. But with these Banshees, if Meristematic can do a lot of damage, he can catch up very quickly, especially if he hits as soon as possible before a lot of the Observers get out on the field. Yeah. And Meristematic is just going to focus on building SCVs right now. You've got to make sure to get your SCV count as high as possible, as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, these Banshees are going to hang out down here, not doing too much, but that's okay. So, yeah, they're going to do some Banshee, some worker harass. They're actually killed 9-10, focusing on the Nexus, but they do manage to get 10 kills. 1 is taken out. Here is the other Banshee doing a lot more damage. 13 kills, 13 workers killed in total, and you can see now the Harvester count is a lot more even. In fact, with mules, that's pretty much, it's almost even. And taking out the proxy pylon before it really gets started. And you can see that Meristematic is actually getting a nice siege tank positioning. And here comes another Stalker push, but these siege tanks are going to be able to do a lot of damage. In fact, look at these poor Stalkers. They're trying to attack. They're doing some damage to the siege tanks, but with Marines now in position tanking for them, these siege tanks, the Cloak Banshee getting in on the action. This siege tank even survives the Immortal hits. Yeah, that push got pretty much shut down. And look at this. Meristematic is matching the income now of King Avocado, and he's matching the supply. So he's doing pretty darn good. Let's fast forward a bit. A nice forward position here, but like I said, with this Xel'Naga Tower, you can only see 2 of the attack paths. You can't see this one down here or this one over here, so there could be a push coming into his main right now. And all of his units would be out of position. His units are kind of split right now. This Colossi not doing too much. A proxy pylon up here isn't a bad decision. You can even expand here and kind of try to defend it as well if you're going to take this kind of advanced positioning. But both players are pretty even right now. Double upgrades for the Terran player, and it looks like King Avocado is going to be doing put down an early third, while all of his armies over here, like I said, an army could just walk right in the front door and take that out before you'd be able to do anything with all of your army up here. A drop could be coming. Drop should be coming, actually, I want to say, because right now there isn't much to defend against it. More Banshees could be down here. All this kind of scary stuff. But all of his armies right here in a giant ball. So it looks like 2-2, no, 1-1. The colors always mess with me on upgrades. Lots of siege tanks is good. Here were the drops I'm talking about. They're going to fly right over this proxy pylon, so King Avocado should be able to defend. He does already have 2 Stalkers up here. Flying over our friendly little Creep Tumor buddy. Yeah, this game hits a slow point right about now, but it gets, trust me, it gets exciting soon. Here comes the drops, and they're immediately going to take out both of those Stalkers, take out the pylon. They're focusing now on killing probes. They actually take out the robotics bay. All of the army, you can see, it's way over here. It's still trying to catch up. The Robo Bay going down in an explosion. And Meristematic's just going to lift off. He does have a whole bunch more Marines doing a ton of damage. Will they take out more probes? It looks like they're not being controlled too well. But all he needed was to do a little bit of damage, and he pulled this whole army back. Dropships saving the day. Yeah. So, what is King Avocado going to do to try to catch up? Because he's now actually only 4 harvesters ahead, which he actually should be more, but he's not mining off of this base now. But how is he going to attack? Because he knows there's siege tanks right here. If he tries to push in there, he's going to take a ton of damage. So he's going to do something smart. He's actually going to set up position in the 3rd base, and he'll be able to take out these rocks and attack where there's not many siege tanks. And King Avocado, Meristematic is going to have to respond to this pretty quickly. But you can see every time he tries to move in with the army, especially with his command center there, the Marines are going to take a ton of damage. These siege tanks are going to do some damage, but every time the Marines come down, they just get taken out so fast with 3 Colossi here, and there just isn't a Viking count at all to face off this push. And Meristematic just says, okay, you can have my 3rd. I'll expand right here to this kind of shared position. Here comes another push. All the Marines getting cleaned up, but there's a ton of Vikings, so all the Colossi will be taken out. Not exactly an even trade, but at least there's no Colossi, so you can get more Marines, and he's building 5 Marines at a time. He's almost finished 3 free upgrades, and he does have a proxy command center here that King Avocado is in no way ready to even scout, let alone push. And this game is just going to move a little bit slower. But that's okay. This is pretty common for a ladder game. Big Maynarding of all these SCVs. Getting this base nice and mining. And it looks like Merisematic is finally setting up for a push. He's moving in with a ton of Marines. Nope, not quite ready. He lost the siege tank there. The Immortals are doing a ton of damage. They are just so powerful. And King Avocado is getting his own 4th base now. This is such a long deny, but he can actually totally move freely out of his base. I wouldn't be unhappy to see if he just took some of these Marines and cut off all the reinforcements. Here comes the big engagement, losing a ton of Marines still. What you can do is just set up over here and deny any reinforcements, and then do a 2-pronged attack and take out this army in one giant move. It looks like here, Merisematic is trying to take this base. Unfortunately, Mr. Creeptoon were smiling up at him, saying, "You can't take me." Merisematic is still trying to break this contain. Tons of Stalkers, tons of Immortals. He is now on 3-3 Marines, though, which are one of the strongest units in the game, if used correctly. So, should be able to take it out, and he's just trying to move in position. There is the siege tank. Here's the stim. Lots of units going down. Marines, though, doing a lot of damage. Finally getting a good position. You can see this ramp is not where you want to have your Marines positioned. And finally, the Marines, with all of these medevacs, are going to be able to take out the last Protoss units. And he has finally broken the contain in his 3rd base. These poor Colossi were too late to help out against the Marine threat, though that contain could have gotten a lot longer if those Marines had been taken out by these Colossi. You can see 3 now on the field, so just a few minutes too late. And now Merisematic has his base set up. He used a Banshee and a Scan to take out the Creep Tumor, which is definitely viable. And he will have an island expansion, and actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 base Protoss versus 5 base Terran. Merisematic is behind on SCVs, but once he gets SCVs building, you can see he is... Okay, just not building SCVs, but he has mules, so it's okay. He's actually getting a 6th base now, but King Avocado has gotten a lot of photon cannons here to deny the space. He has pylons all over the side of the map. He really wants to deny any sort of expansion, but he hasn't even scouted out this base at all. And he's trying to take his own 5th. He has no idea there's a fully mining base right here. And Merisematic is now actually getting Thors, which I like. They'll be able to kind of counter this heavy Robo Bay because of their bonus damage against armored. I think that's correct. Nope, they don't do bonus damage versus armored. Why did I think that? They're just good against mortals. And you can see... Yeah, pause it. So all of his army was up here. He had no scouting at all. King Avocado has not even tried to visit this watchtower. So this attack here in his 4th base is doing a ton of damage, while King Avocado's army is way out of position. And not like just out of position, but way out of position. And this whole base could go down before his army even gets there. In the meantime, a small army is going to try to take out this pylon. Pretty smart stuff. Huge damage going down here. Taking out the Nexus. These photon cannons are actually doing a lot of damage to the Vikings, which Merisematic is going to need because now the whole army has trapped him in his base because he also didn't scout where King Avocado's army was. And will Merisematic be able to save his army? A big stim for the bio, but there's a lot of Colossi here doing a ton of damage. And will the Colossi go down? One does fall, but all the bio is pretty much gone. Another 2 Colossi going down. Final one goes down, but all Merisematic has are a bunch of flying units. He has no bio left, and he has a DT, unfortunately, taking out his army here. A nice scan to take it out. and he hasn't resumed production here. So this attack was pretty smart. He actually saved most of his probes, I guess, by hiding it back here. But you can see how accurately scouting on this map is super important. You need to protect your army. You see these poor flying units. Getting a nice drink of water. Okay. So, Maris Medic is rebuilding his army, getting the Ghost Academy. Ghosts are pretty good against Protoss. Poor DT is not doing too much. These units are finally getting up into this base and taking it out. King Avocado has not expanded here. He just kind of solidified a position to deny further expansions. Of course, ignoring that Maris Medic has already taken this. Finally scouting out this area. It looks like he was just trying to build here, not realizing there was a fully working Terran base that pretty much took out all the minerals. But now King Avocado has attacked this 4th base, and he's doing good. They're still even on bases. And he's taking out the rocks here. Okay, so here is the other important feature of this map. If you're trying to make this attack path, where you take out the 4th base and then walk in for the 3rd, your exit strategy is also going to be where the other player attacks from. Because Maris Medic isn't going to try to move in this way to his 3rd. He's going to move in through the larger ramp and take you out, or he may even try to flank you. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Maris Medic is moving in while King Avocado is trying to pick away at this 3rd. The Planetary Fortress is going to do pretty well. He's flying in his Vikings ahead of time to do some damage to the Colossi. And here comes the army push, and the Bio is doing a lot of damage, but the Thors are doing a majority of the damage, taking out a lot of Stalkers, and they're even using, looks like the Vikings are taking out this last Colossi, and the Bio is now going to be able to overwhelm this poor Protoss force, getting caught out of position. You could have a smaller army here engage and flank, and you'll be fine. So Maris Medic loses a base, but he does a ton of damage. He doesn't lose too many units of his own. He has still a bunch of Stalkers and Bio. And it looks like some Zealots cleaned up this entire base here. And Maris Medic is just going to push it and take it out. It's a long game. Especially for having the Stalkers in his base in the beginning. The game has moved a long way. These poor Zealots trying to escape. Poor guys do not make it out alive. Oh, one does. He lived to tell the tale. But then he turns around and may even attack back into the path. You can see here, not having scouting, King Avocado doesn't know where this other army is, and they pass literally in the night, not seeing each other. King Avocado is now checking this base for units that aren't there. And Maris Medic's moving into the 3rd, and if he takes out this whole production facility, that's a lot. Here is where he really wants to hit, but he also doesn't know it's there. So, gonna do a ton of damage anyway, taking out a lot of units, and King Avocado is now reacting to what he needs to do. But he doesn't have as high of an army count. In fact, he's getting a lot of nothing. I feel like he's just tired from this long game. It looks like he's trying to get DTs to take out this base, which actually might work a lot. And another engagement here where Maris Medic is caught off out of position, but he has a larger army and he's doing a lot more damage, and there are only a few more units for King Avocado left. There's a ton of Bio still here, and they're getting healed pretty easily. This final Colossi, the final army is moving back, and the game has swung into Maris Medic's favor, and I think that's going to be it. This is the only mining base right now. These 2 bases are the only mining bases, but they're way oversaturated. He needs to take a 3rd, but he lost, or a 3rd. He's taking this base actually up here, which is pretty safe, and these DTs are going to be able to do a ton of damage. But really, this base is mining fine, and the Planetary Fortress does fall, but the DTs fall as well, but Maris Medic's army is just huge. Still not choosing to drop there, but he can just move into the main and take out all production facilities. Here comes the push. I know it's laggy. I'm just going to watch it and fast forward. You guys know what happens. This is a Terran bio wall, man. With Thors. Take out everything. And while this PF gets constructed, doing some long distance mining, this army is just too strong, taking out the whole main. Explosions everywhere. And we should be seeing GG pretty soon, especially because this bio army here is taking out this base. In fact, it's a 3-base race. Stalker's here taking out this base. Bio Thor's taking out this base, and Bio Thor's taking out that base. A triple base race, you saw it. Finally, the Stalker's coming back to defend their new base, but it's not enough, and the Nexus falls. I think Mercimetic has the easy control in this game. Especially when he moves into the last bastion of Protoss territory. It's gonna be game. And there's the GG. Cool. So, interesting stuff. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit about these two maps. I'm going to take another break, and we'll go into the bonus episode, but let me actually give this a little bonus song for you guys while we fade out.